Welcome to Extra Points. Each and every week we take a little bit different look, a little off-color look, maybe a little off-kilter look at the world of sports here in the state of Iowa. I'm Al Lorenzen, joined with my Mark Hansen, Casey Shelton, and our own icon here in central Iowa this week, Paul Morrison, is going to join us, and we'll get to Paul Morrison here in a little bit. But guys, before we let Paul enlighten us on the history of sport here in central Iowa, this last week, for me, it was culminated. I'm not an NBA guy, but it was culminated. It was actually, I found the Pacers Heat series compelling. That actually got my attention this week. Mark, what about you? What had you riveted?
Well, what have I riveted? You mean like building
What had you riveted? What held
like
your
that?
attention?
I'll tell you what
It's a
grabbed
figure
my
of speech,
attention.
Mr. Journalist.
I'll tell you what grabbed my attention. I don't know about the playoffs. I do know about the playoffs, and I enjoy watching, but I really enjoy watching Charles Barkley. I just think that he's seriously. I think that he's the best.
Do you like watching him, or just like hear what
like
comes out
what
of
he's
his mouth?
Yeah. He just surprises me on all sides of the
I don't
the
disagree
scale.
with that. Yeah.
I think he's one of the best things going on sports TV.
Casey, what hit you besides the round mound of whatever he is these days?
You know, I obviously like that too. I kind of like the competition that him and Shaq have going on. That's what I think's intriguing. But obviously, I thought the Indiana Pacers and the Heat, what a great series, because everybody thought, well, Heat are just going to run away with it. So I thought that's intriguing to me, and I'm really looking forward to obviously the Spurs and
It's
the
an
Heat.
old school finals.
Exactly.
Yeah. Old school basketball.
You do. You kind of have the old man out there, and then you got the young pup coming in trying to do something. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very physical, which I like to see on the basketball court.
Amen. Well, we're going to take a break. We'll come back with Paul Morrison, Drake historian, Drake icon, former Drake Sports Information Director, relays legend. The titles go on and on. We'll be back with Paul Morrison right after this.
People like to see a return on their investment. Is it time for you to make an investment in your health? The YMCA has great locations, facilities, equipment, and a staff dedicated and trained to help you succeed. And is affordable to all. The Y offers boot camp classes, a pool, wellness coaches, complimentary child watch, and so much more. If you and your family are serious about living an active, healthier lifestyle, why wait? Join the Y today and let tomorrow be the start of a healthier you.
Are you tired of losing the lives and productivity of your employees and their families to diabetes, cancer, heart attack, and stroke? Not to mention the destruction that these and other chronic diseases cause. In an effort to help, we are proud to introduce the newest member of the Holmes Murphy family, Dr. Mike Abelasili. Dr. Mike is Family Physician of the Year in 2010 and has a passionate and proven track record for saving lives and preventing disease.
If you truly want your employees and their families to have better lives, you need to call Holmes Murphy.
Welcome back to Extra Points. As we jump into this week's effort in mediocrity, we certainly have a guest that's anything but mediocre, and that's Paul Morrison. Paul, we are excited that you took time out of your schedule to join us on the show this week.
It's my honor to be involved with you guys. So.
Well, I know you've done a lot of broadcasting over the years. You probably haven't done anything this lowbrow in all your years in sports, but let's jump right in. We were talking a little bit before the show about this year's Drake Relays. Now, you've seen a few Drake Relays in your day. Your take on this year's Drake Relays and the spectacle that was the relays this year?
I think I've seen 75 relays.
Wow.
Starting when I was a junior in high school in Cedar Rapids. And like everybody else that's a relays fan, you've seen everything in the kind of weather, from shoveling off the snow by our sprinter,
I was there.
Yeah. And but the relays weekend was a very good weekend weather-wise and a very good weekend performance-wise. I keep telling Brian Brown that he's living right, because the next week it snowed in Des Moines, and we could have been shoveling snow off the track like we have done from time to time. But no, the relays is a great show, and it's a great window to the world for Drake in the central Iowa, Des Moines.
It seems like it's even become a better show now, as far as not so much the competition, but the way the marketing and the way it just seems like an even bigger deal now.
Oh, I think so. when I was a student at Drake, it was just the relays, you know, the weekend of the relays. But now we've got stuff going the whole week, a variety of things going to entice people there and everything.
Now, Paul, when you were a student at Drake, was Peggy's a big deal even in those days?
Pretty big deal, yeah. but I never got there. Truthfully, I never got there. But
Yeah.
no, Peggy's is an institution. Peggy's is an institution, and
We should have done the show from there today.
Paul, talk to me. Obviously, you said you've been with the Drake Relays, or been participated, or at least watched since for 75 years. Talk to us a little bit about the high school and how they're involved in the Drake Relays. Is that something that you really like to partake in as well and watch that event? Because that seems to always be a big staple in the state of Iowa. Every kid wants to say, you know, I participated in the Drake Relays, and my dad still loves to talk about the Drake Relays when he did it almost 40 years ago.
yeah, no, that's true. I read an item from a kid the other day that said he would rather run at the Drake Relays because he was running against everybody rather than the state meet when he was just running in a class situation,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
which is true. No, the Relays is, Major Griffith did a great job when he founded the Relays in 1910, and a lot of people worked hard to improve them every year, and it's just, I don't know.
It's a great tradition.
It's a great tradition, yeah.
Paul, as you reflect back on your time at Drake, and obviously you worked as sports information director, you retired in 1986, and then they really put you to work, I think in 1986, and we worked together for a time. What, as you recall, as you reflect back, you know, there's moments that all of us, I mean, obviously the Final Four team, there's, you know, Drake football was a perennial power and a bowl contender many, many years. You saw Lonnie Timmerman and the Drake wrestling team have success over the years. What stands out at you? Are there any things that really jump out from in terms of memories for you and Drake athletics?
Well, being a Drake guy, the 1951 relays, I think, was outstanding because selfishly, Drake won the 3 major relays that year.
Wow.
5 kids won the 440, as we call it, and the 880 and the mile relay, and that's always been a favorite of mine, but there's a lot of great weekends at the Drake Relays. Yeah.
Do you have any? We're talking about the relays, but you know you've covered many sports of the final or the Final Four. Is there any athlete, any Drake athlete who stands out as far as a person, a performer in all the categories? Is there anyone in particular who you look back on and you say that was?
Well, I don't think you can avoid Johnny Bright, you know, and a lot of people don't realize that he actually lettered in football, basketball, and track as a sophomore.
Wow.
Before he decided to concentrate on football.
Paul, would you tell the Johnny Bright story? Some of our viewers may not be familiar with everything that went on in and around the story of Johnny Bright.
Well, this would be in October of whatever that year was, and we were at Oklahoma A&M, as they call it in those days, actually playing the Aggies for the conference football championship, and an Aggie lineman by the name of Woolbank Smith just decided that he would take care of Johnny Bright, because if you could take care of Johnny Bright, you pretty much took care of the Drake offense, you know. And so on one of the very first plays of the game, he slugged John, and John eventually had to leave the game, but he actually threw a touchdown pass a few plays later. But the Register and Tribune at that time had, because we were playing for the conference championship, had sent Xtra reporter and film people down there. And as it turned out, ironically, the incident being early in the game was a game that, because when they got their film back to Des Moines, they really didn't know that they had this incident on film. And so that eventually, as you know, won a Pulitzer Prize for the Register cameraman, Don Oltang and Johnny Robinson.
just a great story in terms, not that Johnny Bright got slugged or that anything else,
Yeah.
but a great story in terms of a piece of sports history here in Central Iowa. How did that, you talk about Johnny and the other sports that he did, tell a little bit about the impact that Johnny Bright had on at Drake. You know, obviously the field is now named in his honor,
Johnny Bright Field, yeah.
But talk a little bit about his significance.
Well, if you named the top 25 athletes at Drake over the years, Johnny Bright would be in there. And strange thing is, you know, going back to the incident, the Valley didn't take any action at the time, and our people finally got disgusted, as it were, with the fact that nothing was really happening, and so we dropped out of the conference, you know, for 5 years. And actually, Bradley dropped out in sympathy for Drake.
Okay.
And so, and technically, the apology for the incident came to President Maxwell just a couple, 3 years ago from the president of Oklahoma A&M.
Wow.
Which really pulled the curtain, in effect, on the
Finally got closure.
on the incident. Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
racism really a big problem then?
What's that?
Was racism a big problem in those days?
I don't remember. You know, we had several black kids on the team with John. I don't remember it being an incident. Below, when you traveled, you had to be careful. Even going into Wichita,
Yep.
our black kids had to stay in a separate situation. Usually the whole school would arrange with a church family or something like that to take care of your black kids. But
Wow.
I don't really think that racism was a problem in those days.
Gotcha.
We've made some good progress in that area, but we still have a lot to make.
We're going to take a break. We'd like to do another segment with you, but we've got some bills to pay. Yeah, you know all about that.
Yeah.
We're going to pay some bills. Stay tuned for more Paul Morrison and his recollections after this.
Overwhelmed? Frustrated? Not sure what to do with your garage? Let the professional design team at Minnesota Cabinets be your garage organization solution. Floors, cabinetry, slapboard walls, and other accessories, all custom designed to maximize your space and be easy on your budget. Let Minnesota Cabinets, your trusted solution for kitchen cabinets, bring some peace of mind to your garage too. Wait till your neighbors see this. Minnesota Cabinets, home and garage on 100th Street in Urbandale.
That's magic. This is not. No magic can help you get in shape, and it won't happen overnight. You need a plan, commitment, and more often than not, you will need help. That's what the Y does best. They have the finest facilities and equipment and a professional staff trained to help you succeed. If you and your family are serious about living an active, healthier lifestyle, why wait? Join the Y today and let tomorrow be the start of a healthier you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Extra Points. I'm Al Lorenzen along with Mark Hansen, Casey Shelton, and we're joined by Drake historian and legend Paul Morrison. And Paul, we talked a lot about Drake relays in that last segment, and I'm interested to get your perspective. We had another Drake legend retire. Now, you retired in '86. This one just retired, in Dolph Pulliam. And when you talk about athletes and people that have had an impact on Drake and Drake athletics, certainly Dolph is one of those people. Interested to get your take on what Dolph has meant to the Drake Athletic Department and the Drake community over the years.
Oh, major factor in that area. And selfishly, I guess he's going to leave the Des Moines area, which I can understand. He wants to spend some time with his family and that, and hasn't been able to do that. But he's an amazing guy, and he did a great job for Drake. I think his title at the end was Director of Community Relations or something like that. But,
Yep.
you know, the guy was so outgoing and everything like that he just...
Hard to find somebody that didn't like Dolph Pulliam.
That's right, yeah.
Paul,
And we picked up Dolph, you know, and Willie McCarter,
Yep.
and another guy that only stayed a year or two that they tell me was better than both of those.